Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. So this is a really exciting game. It's the third one that you guys are doing with Adventure Time, right? And you guys are taking a little different approach.
Yeah, this is actually the third game. This is the first one that Little Orbit got to do. Previous ones were done with other publishers. But we do have the same, basically the developer. So we were given a mandate, not really a mandate, but the creator of the show, Pendleton Ward, decided that he wanted to go kind of a more an RPG route, but still keeping it an adventure game. So basically, we went kind of with a Zelda-esque type of gameplay, and developers were fine with it. Pendleton Ward was awesome. He just like, done, go. And then he gave us a creative input. And then basically, we just started going forward with it. And for those 5 people that don't actually know what Adventure Time is, it's human Finn and Jake, his dog, who's magical. And they go through adventures, and their whole thing is basically they were given a task by the princess Bubblegum to go and set up this other kingdom. The other kingdom does not have a princess in place, so she sent you to go and do that. And when you arrive, you find out that the princess has been kidnapped. So another adventure
Shocker,
begins.
right?
Yeah, go
Somebody
figure.
kidnapped the princess.
Yeah, exactly. The princess is. There's at least 3 princesses you got to find in this game. Do you guys want to check it out? We actually have live gameplay.
Yes, let's do it. Let's jump into some gameplay. We have it right here for you guys. And if you have any questions, be sure to use that hashtag GameStop Live, and I will pull those questions up. All right. So there he is.
So this actually takes place a brief time when Finn actually has the grass sword. You'll notice that that Jake is actually more of a tool in this game, not as in a jerk, but more of used as a tool. And basically what happened is he lost Lady Radicorn's ring, and so he's kind of hiding out. And he doesn't want to get caught helping Finn on this adventure because he's afraid he'll get busted, but he still has to help out his buddy. So that's where he's heading off to. We have a lot more of adventures taking place in what we call the overworld, which is just land, if you will. And there's plenty of upgrades. So as you go through the game, you'll be collecting coins, and very Zelda-esque, you'll see you have hearts, or we call them thumps in this game.
Thumps.
And
it looks like a gumball machine.
That was a gumball machine. That actually is a side quest. You actually have a quest from Rattleballs. He shows up in one of the episodes, and he's basically a big gumball machine. But he's alive. So in one of those quests, you have to get 20 gumballs and stuff. You don't have to do them all, but if you don't, you won't get their prizes, and some of their prizes are weapon upgrades or.
Well, you want to get the prizes. That's the whole point, right?
Well, unless you want this super impossible to beat achievement we got set up, where you got to do it without any upgrades.
Oh man,
I can't do it. but the guys at Way Forward, the developer, they can do it for whatever reason. Needs to say, Casey's gonna head on to the first temple that you come across. So these princesses, when they're kidnapped, their temples also got taken over by monsters, and you're going to see a bunch of things that overran their temple.
How convenient! Monsters in the way.
I know. I mean, it's almost like it's an adventure.
The puns. We'll keep them coming, folks.
Perfect. So this is actually, it used to be a school. You could tell by the lockers, there'd be chalkboards, stuff like that. There's actually hints at a lot of stuff. Some of the hints are bigger than others, like the one at the top left of the screen.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a hit you over the head thing, right?
Yeah, it used to be on a chalkboard, but nobody ever really noticed it. So you just kind of, let's kind of make things not as difficult. We did try to keep it set up so you have to figure things out, kind of Zelda-esque.
You mean you have to solve puzzles on your own?
Well, it's not just puzzles. You got to remember all this stuff. Like, you might come across something on one side of the map, not realize what it's used for, go to the other side and have to remember the other side. It's stupid.
But that's really what, fans of old school games like, Zelda, Link to the Past are really fond of, and it's so hard to get that in a lot of games these days.
Yeah, well,
the challenge.
It is, but of course all those people are now buying the game for their kids, and the kids don't feel necessarily the same way. So we got to give some tips. So we have grown as an industry in the last 10 years. But
what? No.
Crazy talk. So Casey's actually heading to the first of our bosses. So basically, we try to use a lot of stuff that was actually in episodes. In this case, Casey's going to be fighting hair apes, which was from the Adventure Train episode.
Oh, nice.
And he's basically got to figure out how to beat them. In this case, I'll just tell you, he's got to use Jake's ability to swat things back at the bad guys and stun them, and then they're exposed, and he's got to spank their hams. That's literally a term from the show. I couldn't have created that if I tried.
Well, Adventure Time is quite out there.
It is. It's awesome. I actually have been watching it from the beginning, and it's my favorite show. So it's just a blessing to be able to even work on these type of games, much less enjoy the show. And speaking of the show, like it was awesome when we actually did the recording for all the voices. We actually got the real talent. So we've got Jeremy Shadow, who's Fig, we got DiMaggio, who's Jake. We got Pendleton Ward showed up. He actually does a lot of voices for the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's Lumpy Space Princess, as well as a few other characters. So he showed up. I mean, he was helpful and not just the VO, but created the story. All our stuff comes from Cartoon Network and the creators of the show. So, oh no, did you smack him? Did he not die? Is this going to be one of those 8-hit type of things?
Make it harder.
No pressure.
But
so are fans of Adventure Time going to recognize a lot of other characters?
So we do have a lot of the characters, but they're more in a secondary or tertiary type of side quest stuff. We have brand new characters that were created for this brand new land. So there's a lot of similarities between characters. We have a Pillowmint Butler instead of, for example, Peppermint Butler. And right now we're actually showing off one of our new princesses.
Are you a princess?
And this is our Lullaby Princess, as you can see it by its label. And she's kind of sing-songy. She kind of talks in non-rhyming lyrics. One of our other princesses is a sleep princess. She's like kind of just out there dreaming in a half-dream state all the time, so she talks weird. And then we have Fear Princess, and they're all sisters. She's the middle one. She's actually normal.
Well, you had to throw one normal princess in, right?
We had to. And basically, we tried to introduce these new characters. But as you brought up, we do have some of the old characters. We have Lumpy Space Princess and Shelby and
Gunter.
Gunter
Ice
shows up. Ice King. So we do have some of the characters, but they're not the focus. They're just kind of helping you on the side.
Yeah, they're just, decoration, if you will.
Yeah, eye candy.
So this seems pretty hardcore Adventure Time lore. Are people who, or kids or adults who are interested in playing this game, are they going to feel a little barrier of entry if they're not a big fan of the series?
Well, they might not get some of the references, but they definitely shouldn't be too completely bummed out because, I mean, it is character-driven, but since all the RPG elements moving forward have a lot of new characters, if they never knew anything about Adventure Time, they would be fine with it. If they know about Adventure Time, there'll be a lot of little subtle nods that they'll think that are pretty cool.
Well, that's great. It's always good to put little nuggets in there for the hardcore fans to remind them, hey, we appreciate that you're fans just like we are, and we're going to show that to you by giving you some cool inside jokes.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many of those inside jokes in the show itself. So with the help of actually the team that created it, we tried to get a bunch of those elements in there, including some of the writers for the show. So it's pretty cool.
So let's maybe talk about some of the upgrades that we'll see. Are there any particularly fun ones or ones that you like to use?
Well, right now Casey's using a banana ring. You can upgrade that to not just shoot one guy that'll stun, but multiples. And then there's upgrades to the weapon where you learn some techniques from Rattaballs. But overall, I mean, we have the elements. It's a big adventure. You go back and forth. It's coming out this year, and it's going to be on PC, Steam, 360, PS3, and, of course, 3DS.
And it's going to be, is it on the 360 too?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I mean, that's quite a spread there. So fans can definitely get their hands on it soon. Thanks for coming by and showing us a little slice of the game today. And we're going to be talking about another Little Orbit game in just a minute.